Today I took 2 trades, 1 loser and 1 winner. Both on the same setups, but this was kind of a FOMO entry, and it was a rushed entry, and I'll get into it. This one was a better entry, although I was very, very close to stopping out before my planned stop loss, because I was just I wasn't there mentally, I guess. Lots of psychological issues here, but I held on and got a good winner out of it. So going into today, we're still in this consolidation range over here. Since December, it's just been kind of in the same place. Very choppy here. Yesterday was FOMC, and then after the rate cuts were announced, it shot up. But during the overnight session, it sold off heavily back into this consolidation range. The pivots were, the CPR was higher though, and also on the cams it was higher. But on the TPO is an outside relationship. So outside relationship usually means that it's going to stay within range and kind of chop around. But these, since the cams were and the CPR were higher, I wanted to lean more towards the bullish side. But then again, yesterday after the rally, rejected off of supply perfectly back into this range. And yes, in the pre-market rallied up, but I thought I'd rather stay on the side of, still chopping and consolidating rather than trying to long a breakout into supply here. So I was undecided as I was writing this pre-market context. Still consolidating even after FOMC. TPO is outside relationship, but bullish relationships on CPR and cams. Sold off after hours and back into consolidation range. Now it's rallying back up, opening right at value area high. I don't know if I want to play a breakout towards supply or if I should assume that supply and consolidation range holds and try to short here. I can try to short value area high. And it was also CPR, so it was a level I can short. But TPO, since TPO is an outside relationship, is it more likely to bounce around within range? And I said if it breaks out of value, I can look to long a pullback. So I was looking at the supply sell-off, and then rejection at value area high, and then back into this range. Or if it breaks out of value, then I could long a value area high retest. So those were my two main scenarios here. A value area high CPR short, and value area high break and retest long. Those are my two scenarios, and it mostly worked out to my target at POC, but this one was not the best entry or the best confirmations. So as market opened up, it started coming down right when market opened, and that kind of gave me FOMO. So I saw right before market open that, let's say, value area high is at 68.73. So right at value area high formed a nice delta divergence bearish, and it came back into to retest it and formed another one, although it is on lower volume because pre-market. But I did see that also in the pre-market there was a huge delta divergence on the 1 minute, so I really liked it. I even considered taking a position pre-market somewhere around here at 69 or so. So when it started selling off right at market open, I was thinking I should have just entered at 68 or so with a stop at 74. It would have been like a 6-point stop, and I was kind of regretting that I didn't enter. So right off the bat, I'm having this kind of a fear of missing out, like I missed out on this sell-off of that value area high. My fear was that it would just never retest value area high because it already tested up at pre-market, and then especially because it went here, retested, and then sold off. So my fear was that it would just sell off right off the bat, and so I was looking for an opportunity to get short here. And this was clearly not the best entry. In hindsight, it's just FOMO trading, but I entered right here at 64 with a stop above the opening high here at 71, which isn't really even a proper stop. Honestly, the stop should be up at 74, which would be a 10-point stop, which I don't want to do, so I put it up here. What I should have done is waited for a better entry, and then, and then put my stop up here, but I did not do that. Especially after a delta divergence bullish hammer candle with the POC at the bottom here. That was probably a very bad idea to short that, but it was forming a delta divergence with a little P-shape bearish, so I kind of like that. But I mean, buyers were supporting right at this POC here. Formed two hammer candles, and then formed a delta divergence bullish, and then went up, and then stopped me out here. And as it was rallying, it was forming these buying imbalances, which was pretty bullish. So now I'm like, okay, there's this volume node here. Maybe if it goes above and then breaks or pulls back, and then I can long something here, right? Because it seems pretty bullish. It's rallying, buying imbalances coming in. But then I looked at my chart again, and I realized that it never really broke above value area high yet. It's still at value area high. I'm still within reason to short this, and I'm seeing this CVD hidden divergence here, where the high is over here, broke highs on delta, but barely wicking on price. Also a somewhat, it didn't quite form it, but it wicked and almost formed a delta divergence on the 1 minute. There's a P shape forming here, with the POC at the top here. CVD, it was breaking highs while price was not. Also a P shape forming here, with the POC at the highs. Also buying delta here. 20 range candle forming a delta divergence here. So I liked a lot of aspects of this setup forming here. Also, context-wise, this high, it broke this high here, but on RSI, it formed a lower high. So that was a RSI divergence, along with the CVD hidden divergence. The delta divergence on the 20 range chart, and on the 2 minute chart here, and the POC at the top here, that forms kind of a P shape. So all these aspects I really liked, so I entered short, and I don't know why, but I entered with 2 contracts. I guess I was just so confident with these confirmations subconsciously that I entered with 2. And I instantly regretted it. And I said I should have entered with 1 contract, especially as it started going up here. And this was just nerve-wracking because I already took a loss, and I went in on the second try with 2 contracts. Now it's going to be a big loss type of day. This was an outlier here where a bunch of buyers came in, but it wasn't moving that much, which gave me a little hope, but then it started rallying back up, so I didn't like that. And then on the rally, there's buying imbalances forming. It went back above the 70 level. I didn't like that. I honestly considered just stopping out of this because I really thought it was a dead position. Despite these delta divergences here, I don't know. I think I was affected by the first loss, and psychologically wasn't all there. Again, buying imbalances form over here, and I'm looking to just get out of this because look at that delta divergence bullish that formed there. Buying imbalances, now it's just gonna rally up and stop me out. I have my mouse on the close exit all button. Now saying I should have went in with 1 contract, buying imbalances as it's going up. It seems like buyers are relentless. And then kind of forms that little P shape, and suddenly sellers come in, and boom, it sells off. Why that happened, I don't know, but a bunch of sellers came in. And I don't know if I just got lucky or if this was, my thesis working out, but again, a bunch of sellers you see come in here, big sellers, boom, and it's a little sweep here. And then now I'm thinking, okay, is it going to support here again and stop me out, or is it actually going to continue? And after a little while, it started coming down, and then look at that huge delta outlier there. At 65, I believe, yeah. 2023, 22, huge amount of selling. It just seemed like it was holding at first, but then it comes back down, and then it just went straight down into my target, which was it was POC. I had one at 3R first, and then I had my second one at POC, which was my actual target. So pretty much go straight into my target. I mean, it was one tick away, and this seemed like it was bouncing, but came back down pretty fast. So I took one off at 3R, and then at 50 was my POC target. So that also hit. So not a bad trade. It worked out. Value area high rejection, and then target at POC, which is pretty good. And then there was a huge rally up, but either way, I think thesis was good, setup was good. This entry was really bad. I was out of FOMO, but this one was pretty good.